where best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is...
Hello.
Merris.
Oh, I did it wrong.
I made you do it wrong because I thought it'd be funny.
I hope it was.
It was. Merris Monday. That's what we're doing.
Hooray.
So it's time to ignore the depressing and harrowing state of reality to talk about weird stuff again.
Ah, thank God.
And this one is wacky. This is the cuckoo bananas case of Jean Hingley, excuse me. Or it's also known the Mince Pie Martian incident.
Oh, good.
And it's as dumb as it sounds.
Or is it? It sounds pretty yummy, right? Mince pie.
Oh, no, you're going to be real disappointed in that.
Oh, no.
Because I explain it.
Oh.
Anyway, I love this very much. And I hope you love it too. I love you. Okay. Moving on. So our story is set in Bluestone Walk, which is in Rowley Regis, West Midlands, England.
They got the dumbest names there in
I just said, in my notes, it says, can y'all not have regular names for things?
No, they got names like Hinkleberry or something. God, I don't know.
It's a fucking mouthful.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway, it was the 4th of January, 1979, and little Lillian was not yet born and was merely a twinkle in her daddy's eye or some such shit.
Yeah.
And it was cold as balls. It was 6:30 in the morning, which is when I go to bed.
Yeah.
And Jean Hingley was up saying goodbye to her husband Cyril, which is a stupid name, and he's a stupid man, as he headed out to work at a cement plant. Her council house had a backyard, not all of them do, and there was a shed and garage at the end of the property. So as she's watching her husband trudge off to work, she noticed that there was a strange orangish glow coming from the end of her backyard, and she thought her dumbass husband had forgotten to cut off the lights in the garage.
Yeah.
She and her dog, Hobo, go to the garage to turn the lights off when she noticed that the light, the orange glow, was not coming from inside the garage.
Was it coming from the dog Hobo?
It wasn't.
Oh.
So she does a very sensible thing, something I do when I catch sight of some weird shit. When weird shit rears its head and I don't feel like having an experience, because let's be honest
you
here.
hit some pots and pans together, scare it away.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't want any more goddamned experiences.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, I turn the fuck around and walk away, and that's what Jean did as the orange glow rose above the garage and was clearly a big orange orb in the sky.
I was going to say, I don't know what to say there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Say.
The British people always seeing stuff in the sky, like
well, we are
Lucy
too.
in the sky, and, you know.
Yeah. The light emanating from the sphere was bright enough to light up the whole backyard, and it felt like hot. Jean said, fuck all of this mess, and took her dog Hobo into the house as the orb descended, resting right on her grass in the backyard.
You got to be careful of them UFOs. They'll microwave you for real.
Everything that happens in this story is bananas.
Because if the air's getting hot, that just sounds like very radioactive or something.
I just love how she's like, nah, I'm not curious. Goodbye.
Oh, I also don't want to be radiated by aliens.
No.
So
if something like that were to happen, I'm going in and I'm not playing.
I'm getting the pots and pans. I'm
getting the machete, sword, and the wasp spray.
Make a big noise. Be bigger than it. That's what you got to do to aliens, but like bears. Like, you got to be bigger than it.
It's not hard. These guys are small.
Okay.
As it descends, it changes from an orange color to a pure white. The weird shit Jean was seeing started making a noise that she described as sounding like Z, Z, Z.
That's bad noise.
I don't like that. And Jean didn't either. She had yet to close the back door, and as she watched, 3 weird-ass beings floated in through the open door into her fucking house.
Now, when you say floating...
I mean, they's floating. These little bitches float the whole time.
Like, how far off the ground?
Not very.
Okay.
Like maybe a foot or 2 off the ground.
All right, that is a float, not a fly. Okay.
They're floating.
Yeah.
They were humanoid, about 3.5 feet tall. They were glowing white, and it made it hard to see them distinctly because they were so bright. The beings floated through the kitchen and into her living room. Jean was straight up having a bad time and got real weak and dizzy and clutched onto the kitchen counter by the sink. As she said, it felt as though all the blood was draining from her body.
Wow, no, they're vampire aliens.
Her blood remained where it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Then she found she just couldn't move. She was aware of everything going on, but her body felt frozen. And we've talked about this phenomenon of weird shit making you freeze.
Right, and because everyone's always like, we don't need to take a picture or punch them or something.
Because I'm frozen with their magic or
right.
whatever.
They're vampire aliens. You can't fuck with them.
Yeah, so Jean saw her dog, Hobo, wobbling around, unsteady on his paws. He wasn't feeling great either, obviously. All the fur on his spine was standing straight up, and he kind of shuffled over to his water dish and just lay down.
That's
and
bad.
Then stared into space.
Yeah, I don't know. This dog's seeing something. He's having a
like,
bad time.
not today. I'm a dog. I cannot handle this shit. I want to lick my nuts and go to sleep.
He's having a bad trip.
Right. Anyway, obviously, this was all very unsettling.
Yeah.
Jean suddenly felt completely free of the terror that was coursing through her moments ago. She could move again, but she stated that it was more like she started floating towards the living room because her feet were not quite touching the ground.
We're floating again.
Yeah. She said she felt like she was in heaven and totally at peace. Even though the kitchen was cold because of the open door, she felt very, very warm. Because they're microwaving you, bitch.
Bitch, you're going to have to go to the doctor way later.
She does. Everything. This is so nuts. Okay, so it goes on. She continued to float into the living room where the beings were, and they were still shining so brightly she could barely make them out, and the light hurt her eyes, so she had to cover them with her hands.
Yeah, it's like when you see the Lord.
Fuck off, God. I need my shades.
You need your God shades so you can look upon the...
Be not afraid. She said it was then it felt like the beings were inside her head and they dimmed themselves as if they had gleaned that they were too bright just by reading her thoughts.
Turn your shine down, star.
Oh, that's nice. I'm going to use that in a romance novel or something.
You can.
You're always saying just out-of-pocket shit. You know that?
I'm stoned, that's why.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, you're silly now.
Yeah.
Then she could see them properly when she lowered her hands from her eyes, and they were slim, small men in silver shirts and pants. The shirts had 6 silver buttons, and not like buttons that you like button up, but like computer buttons or whatever.
They should make a different word for that.
Down the front. They all looked alike. Their silvery green clothes extended to their feet and pointed caps on their heads.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
But hold on.
Don't. I
Okay.
can't.
It gets worse because they also have like a fishbowl transparent helmet on, and the cap is on top of the fishbowl.
I love them.
Yeah, I love them also. They had what Jean described as black diamond eyes. Like, she's like, I don't know a lot about gemstones, but their eyes were sparkly.
They were shining like diamonds, just like me and Beyonce.
Mm-hmm. Shine bright like a diamond, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
They had tiny noses and small mouths and fucking wings. They had oval-shaped wings that glowed with an entire rainbow of shifting color.
Wow, that's magnificent.
Yeah, she said she thought of Joseph's coat of many colors and described those colors as more intense and beautiful than any on Earth. They also had weird raised bumps like Braille on their wings. I don't know.
I can't with these fucking things.
No, it's just going to get weirder.
Okay.
So enjoy. They didn't have hands or feet, but rather their limbs terminated into tapered points.
No, I hate them.
Oh, I hate them too. They're such dicks also. They just are assholes the whole time, and you'll see.
Okay, good. Yeah.
They had thin strips of like metal or shiny cloth that hung like streamers from their narrow shoulders, and each being was haloed in light. And when they moved, floating around, they had their arms against their chests, like crossed over their chests like mummies.
Oh, fuck these things.
And their legs hung there like real limp. Ragdoll.
These are terror, horror abominations.
I hate them so much.
Yeah.
The 3 beings floated over, this is so rude, to her Christmas tree that was still up. And they started to violently shake the tree back and forth like real weird assholes.
Were they like humping it or?
No, you're going somewhere you shouldn't go with this.
All right.
They roamed around her living room looking at like all the Christmas cards and furniture, and they touched everything. And
Fucking don't touch my shit.
Right? Get your little not hands off my stuff.
Your pointy mitts out of here.
They touched stuff, and when they touched it, it seemed to like stick to their hands like magnets.
They didn't have hands, they have points.
Well, they stuck to their points.
Ugh.
Yeah. Their wings fluttered and undulated, but didn't flap. Like, the wings were like vestigial, like they weren't keeping them aloft. They were just sort of fluttering, kind of.
Okay.
Jean was able to move again. When she'd come into the living room and gotten a good look at them, it made her mouth open in an O of shock.
Yeah, me too.
And that whole time they're fucking around, her mouth was stuck that way because she was paralyzed.
Oh.
And that is just the scariest shit I've ever heard, and I hate it so fucking
these
much.
fucking little, like, helmeted gremlins are running around my Christmas, you know?
Running around my Christmas.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, Jean was able to talk, and she said this. 3 of you and 1 of me. What are you going to do? What do you want with me? A reasonable ask.
3 of you, 1 of me, but, like, the odds are in my favor somehow.
Because I'm about to go
I
ham.
got a chainsaw. You know?
I got a machete, sword, and wasp spray, and you're going down. Or you know
down.
what? I'll just tear you apart with my hands like you're
Right.
made out of soft
They're
bread.
sticky, so fine.
They all turned to her and started pressing the buttons on their
What
chests.
does that mean?
Beep, boop. And
Yeah.
it goes beep, boop, beep, boop, bleep, bleep.
Uh-huh.
A rough masculine voice, 3 voices to be precise, all spoke at the same time. We shall not harm you.
Well, I'm going to harm you.
I said, cool, how about you fuck off, weird space fairies? That's what
Right?
I'd say.
Sticky space fairies.
God!
I can't get over that detail. It's gross.
Thiop,
Yeah.
thiop, thiop.
Everywhere they go.
Yep. So Jean did not say that.
Right.
They didn't move their mouths when they talked. When Jean asked where they'd come from, all they said was, we have come from the sky.
Okay.
So every time she spoke, it was clear they didn't understand at first. They would press the little bleep bloop buttons on their chests, and she told them, you'll learn a lot of things from me with that bleep bleep.
Did she swear?
No, because it makes a bleep bleep noise when they touch the buttons.
Oh, okay.
And they answered, yes, yes, like little freaks.
Wee wee.
The bleep bleep sound from the buttons would sometimes be very shrill and loud, so it hurt Jean's ears. She had trouble with her hearing the rest of her life after this.
Oh no, they took her hearing like
Oh
Ariel
no, they
and took her voice.
her whole life is fucked, and
Yeah.
we'll keep going. The little floating shits then started accosting the Christmas tree again.
Mhm. Oh, they're humping it now, you know.
And they knocked the angel off the top to the floor.
Yeah.
And she told them, we put up a tree at Christmas time because we believe Jesus was born then.
That makes no fucking sense when you explain it that way.
Right? Because, like, I imagine I'm from space and I'm like, huh?
Who's Jesus
Who?
and what does this tree have to do with his
Tree?
birth?
Yeah, I'd be so confused. But the creature simply said, we know all about Jesus. Okay, assholes.
They're Mormon.
Quit fucking with my Jesus tree then.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Yeah.
Then the weird little wacky guys floated over to the coffee table and took great interest in a newspaper there. In particular, a news article on the front page. There was like an honors list for like volunteer work or some dumb shit. And the being said, these people have been made lords. There is only one Lord.
Is it Jesus?
God, they're like the worst Jehovah's Witnesses ever.
Right.
I've come to talk to you about our Lord and Savior as I hack them to death with my machete
And they're
sword.
just strangling the Jesus tree, so they're not very good Christians.
No, they're not. They're being weird and wrong.
Yeah, and sticky.
It's
I
sticky.
hate that.
The little winged freaks talked about Jesus and now the very dead and moldering Queen of England.
Mm-hmm.
Jean told them that she was the equivalent of a peasant and that she wasn't worthy of a visit from the little cone-headed gnats
Well, that's true.
and that they should go visit the Queen, a real lady, instead.
I mean, good point.
The little being said, you are a lady. Thanks.
Not the queen, though.
Well, they didn't give a shit. So these Christmas tree menacing guys started jumping on her fucking couch. And Jean kind of had it by that point. You know, this is all very strange.
Yeah,
First
they're
of
like
all.
Tom Cruising all over her Oprah sofa.
She floated around, her mouth hung open a long time, and there being little shits jumping on her fucking furniture.
Right.
And so she shouted at him, please be careful of the furniture.
True, right?
And they stopped. She shouted to them because fuck.
Yeah, you jumping on it.
Every time she shouted at them to stop being complete menaces, they shot a beam of light from the top of their cone hats right between her eyes, which would make her paralyzed for a moment.
That's some fighting lasers.
You're done if
You're
you
done
do that
now.
shit to
You've done
me.
it.
They were friendly, but she knew they could hurt her if they wanted to. She felt that. Jean asked them to stop beaming the light at her, that it hurt her eyes, and they turned the little lights off. And she asked them why they did that, and they refused to answer her and got agitated.
Mm-hmm.
Cunts!
Right? They are menacing.
Jean, who has bigger balls than everyone on Earth, told them she didn't feel right calling them creatures, so she'd call them gentlemen. She said, nice to see you nicely. Which must be some British bullshit, because why?
Right, that, like, don't we have that equivalent here in the South? Like, you know, when you're being nice, but you're not being nice.
Bless your heart.
That's it. I couldn't think of it. Yep.
Bless your heart.
That's what she was saying to them in British.
No, she meant it. She's a simple woman.
Oh,
and this is my favorite part. They loved this, and they were floating around all crazy, and they went, nice, nice.
I would lose my fucking mind at this point. I would just start swatting them.
Grabbing them.
Get out of my house, you green little weirdos, you boogers, you know?
Which is terrifying and hilarious. Oh, they were like pale-skinned and waxy, which is creepy.
Oh,
don't like
sticky, yeah.
So then they floated up the stairs, but all the doors upstairs were shut, and for some reason a shut door is a no.
Uh-huh.
So they just kind of milled about and then floated right back down the stairs and started manhandling her objects again. They looked at a cassette tape and then talked to her about some British music artist of the time we don't know, so why include it? I won't.
Right. It's probably like, you know, some stupid British thing.
Roger Ponce
Oh,
and the Poncettes.
Yeah, I don't know.
They became interested in her liquor bottles, and she asked them if they wanted a drink, and they all said they wanted water. Jean could move around freely now, and so she got 4 glasses of water. She put on a metal tray, one for her, because she wanted to show them it was safe to drink.
Right.
And they pulled it towards them with magic. I don't know, mind powers. They reached up to remove their fishbowl helmets, but when they saw she was watching, they blinded her with the light and then drank all the water real fast.
They are fucking rude.
And when she could see again, the water was gone.
Yeah.
They told her that they'd been to New Zealand, Australia, and America, and that they came to Earth to try to talk to people, but people didn't really seem interested. Well, you're coming in my house, and you're pushing my tree around.
Right.
You're touching my shit with your sticky, pointy triangle hands.
You're blinding me with science.
You're blinding me. You're making my head hurt, and you're being weird, flying around going, nice.
Right.
I will kill
Nice.
you.
Yeah.
This is America.
They are trolling her so
They
hard.
are. This is America. I live in a castle state, bitch. I will kill you if you come in my home.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, coleslaw.
Yeah.
Damn. I felt patriotic for a second.
I never do.
No, it faded quickly.
Yeah.
She asked if she should talk to people about how they visit her, and they were like, yes. Shitheads. They said they had been here before, and they would come again, and that everyone would go to heaven, and there were beautiful colors there.
Oh, good. I'm glad that I'm going to heaven to see some fucking colors.
Okay, freaks.
Right.
Out you go.
Get out of here.
Go pedal crazy somewhere else.
I don't want to hear your space Jesus.
We're all full up here.
Yeah.
So then Jean, not really knowing what to do, prattled on about politics and gender equality to them.
Okay.
She told them it was a man's world, and they seemed really interested.
Oh, don't tell them that.
Then she said she'd not been to church in a while, and they said it wasn't necessary to go to synagogues to worship.
What? She's not Jewish.
No, she wasn't. She's Protestant.
Yeah.
But they were just like, don't do it. Who cares? Basically.
Going to the temple, I guess.
Yeah. She told them she found the Bible hard to understand. Oh, Jean, bless you. They seemed to agree.
Too, though.
And then after which she went into the kitchen to all get them a mince pie.
Okay. You said that in the title, and I was like, pies. And
Okay, there are 2 types of mince pies. We're going to go over this for all you.
I love the history of pies. Okay, tell me.
They're handheld pies, like a little personal pie. Now, if it's just mince,
Pie, yeah.
then that means it is, raisins, apples, and spices.
That sounds pretty good. I'll be eating that.
But usually it's mince meat.
Okay.
Because they're putting ground hamburger in
Is that made
shit.
of people, or?
Fuck off. Fuck off. It is England's fault white people be putting raisins and shit where it don't belong, like potato salad. Here's where raisins belong, covered in chocolate, in a box, in oatmeal raisin cookies.
I like Raisin Bran.
In Raisin Bran, and in your mouth when you can't shit. Nowhere else can a raisin be permitted
I've had
to
a
live.
pretty good raisin cookie.
Well, that's an
With the
oatmeal.
oatmeal cookie.
That's
yeah.
I said they could be there.
Oh, I'm stupid.
God damn you, high on.
Yeah,
Shut
that's right.
up.
I'd be eating cookies right
You're
now.
ruining
if I
my
could.
rant.
I am. Yeah.
Another place, raisins are sometimes allowed, and only the golden raisins, and I don't know why, because maybe they're not black little bug wrinkle, shriveled dick-looking things in my food,
Right.
is bread pudding. But honestly, I prefer it without it.
Whatever. I'll just eat whatever. Yeah. I'm hungry now.
I would want to assume she was vaporized on the spot for serving this slop to these fairy, alien, weird-ass, rude goblins, but the creatures picked them up with their weird no-hands, and then they noticed her cigarettes, and she offered to show them how to smoke.
That's a cool thing to show aliens.
They were just like, what is it?
I'll show you how to smoke. Cool.
Let's fire up a bowl with the little goblin guys.
They don't have hands, so I have to help them.
Yeah, exactly. This makes me think of my favorite meme of all time, which is me to my alien at Chili's.
Yeah.
This is a margarita and you drink it.
Yeah.
Jean is a badass, and yes, I believe her. She's not like that bright, bless her. She didn't make this weird shit up. I make up weird shit, and I wouldn't make up this weird shit. She started to smoke by lighting a match, and this scared the piss out of these little freaks.
Whoa, yeah.
They backed up, and then there was a very painfully loud beeping from the backyard, and the little shits heard it. They flew towards the back door. Jean called for them to come back, but they ignored her, and she watched from the window as they approached a large, glowing, cylindrical object about 8 to 10 feet long, 4 feet high, and there were big round windows in it. It was a spaceship. The beings went in, taking the mince pies with them.
Yeah.
Then the craft lifted into the sky, and a bright blue light flashed twice, and Jean took that as goodbye. And then it flew the fuck away.
Right.
So Jean felt at first calm and happy, but then she felt incredible pain, like her whole body was hurting, especially her head.
Right.
Her legs were numb, and she was weak and dizzy. She managed to get to the couch, and she just laid there for hours until 5 p.m. As she was laying on the couch, she saw a figure all in white appear by her Christmas tree, and I would think, really, again with my tree?
Jesus. I mean, literal Jesus.
Look, I'm sorry I ain't took it down yet. I'm lazy. Leave me alone. All the more reason not to put one up.
I put this tree up to celebrate your birth, sir.
The tree shit continues, by the way.
Okay.
And then the figure disappeared. Jean went to her neighbors around 5 p.m., and Jean told them what had happened to her. Her neighbors suggested she call the police.
Or a doctor for your brain.
So she did.
Yeah.
And they sent an officer.
Yeah.
Then Jean called her husband at work. He had to stay at work. He couldn't get off, and she tried to tell him what was happening to her, but she was crying and upset. Her dumbass husband told her to get her hair done and tell the ladies at the hairdresser all about it.
He weren't listening.
Fuck you, Cyril. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
If I rang you up and I told you that shit, you'd be like,
I'm pretty sure I'd
wife.
be like, that's a nice dream you had, dear.
No, you wouldn't. You believe me.
Well, I know, but that's a lot.
I don't care. You believe your wife.
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. You get the aliens and the mince pie and the no hands.
You inconstant, cowardly bastard.
Me, I'm not cowardly.
No, I'm talking about Cyril.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck him.
I was like, I'd face that alien straight
All my
on.
homies hate Cyril.
Yeah, that's right.
The police came and didn't see anything unusual, but they did notice that Jean didn't look well. So without any other ideas, they called a UFO investigation team.
I'd call fucking doctors.
She goes there eventually.
Okay,
Shut up.
okay.
The UFO team found interesting things. In the backyard, the snow melted faster where the craft had landed, and the grass wouldn't grow there for the rest of the year. A circle had been scratched into the back window, which Jean said hadn't been there before. Inside the house, the TV, radio, telephones, and clocks were all malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Jean now had hearing problems. Her eyes were sore, and she had to wear dark sunglasses for weeks. Her jaw ached from how she had been forced to hold her mouth open while frozen. She just felt shitty and fatigued in general. She had to take 2 weeks off of work. Jean had constant headaches, and there was a red mark on her forehead, and in that same spot, a mole appeared 3 months later.
Uh-oh.
Girl, they gave you all, cancer, AIDS.
No, you don't ever want to meet aliens for this reason.
Yeah. Jean claimed that she could now read people's surface thoughts, and she felt agitated around electronics. She told the UFO researchers things about themselves they'd never told her before. In the days after the incident, the Christmas tree disappeared.
What do you mean it disappeared?
It vanished into thin
I bet
motherfucking air.
The husband just threw it out. He was like, enough of your
No,
nonsense.
because it reappeared later in pieces in the backyard, but all the decorations were missing. Over the following weeks, one would appear in the backyard, then another in the corner of the backyard, then another until
They're
finally...
haunting her. They're just messing with her. Trolling.
Yeah. And her gold wedding ring had turned white on the outside. They irradiated that bitch.
Oh, no.
And poor Hobo was affected too.
Oh, no, not the dog.
He was sleepy and lethargic for days.
Uh-oh.
But then he recovered after that.
Okay.
So Jean was eventually interviewed by all sorts of publications, of course, mainly tabloids. And she always seemed so earnest to the interviewers. Like the tabloid interviewers felt bad for interviewing her for what was clearly going to be made a joke of.
Okay.
Because she was very serious. She was a deeply, deeply religious woman. She had never expressed interest in fairies, UFOs, ghosts, or anything like that before.
Right.
Like, she didn't...
She's not cool in any way.
Jean is... If you see a picture of this woman, she's the most British housewife I've ever seen. Bless her.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rest of her life was spent in misery because her neighbors ridiculed her. She had to leave her job because they made fun of her so much, and then she had a nervous breakdown.
Oh.
Yeah, and then she kind of quit talking about it because obviously everyone's going to make fun of you. And like, look, this story is dumb. It's dumb.
It's dumb but good.
I mean, it is good.
Uh-huh.
It's silly. It does sound like a fever dream, but she didn't have a brain tumor. There wasn't carbon monoxide poisoning.
Okay.
She didn't have a seizure. Look, as somebody who is a temporal lobe epileptic, I have hallucinated so hard.
Yeah.
One time I had taken my kids to some after school thing. It was a luau.
Oh, don't tell this story. I hate it.
Yeah, you'll deal with it. And it was hot. And I was not feeling good. I hadn't eaten all day. Big mistake. Huge trigger for my seizures. And I started feeling one coming on. It has a very distinct, like somebody pours cold water on your head. And my tummy gets very nauseous. And my vision starts to tunnel. But then I started hearing Viking horns. Mm-hmm. So I grabbed a Dr. Pepper and I chugged it. I thought, get that blood sugar up so you don't fucking pass out. Mm-hmm. And I sat in a chair and it was all over. And suddenly everything became Silent Hill, like the chains, and it was dark. Mm-hmm. And there was blood and gore everywhere. And John, my youngest, was right in front of me and all of his guts spilled out.
Yeah, I hate that.
But this hallucination lasted probably 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. I wasn't having full conversations with beings. Mm-hmm. It didn't make my TV fuck up, and it didn't give me moles on my forehead.
Right.
I believe Jean. I don't know if she's still alive. I hope so. I believe you, Jean. You were telling the truth, and I'm sorry those little cunts ruined your life. That's not fair. They should come back and give you money.
Right. Pay rent, bitches.
Bitches. Quit shaking my tree.
Quit manhandling my Christmas tree.
I didn't tell you could touch my stuff. Mm-mm. I hate that.
Give me back them pies also.
Hey, fuck you. You don't get pie.
Yeah, pies for me.
Pies for me, none for you. Yeah. Nor my cigarettes.
Yeah.
Good sir.
I was trying to teach you how to smoke like the cool aliens.
And then you ran off because you're a bitch.
You're a bitch, aliens.
So, business time isn't a bitch.
No.
I don't have any right now. I'm so tired. Look, we have a Patreon, we have a Discord, and we have merch.
Yeah. Get it.
And you should get it.
Get it because I told you to.
Come into Discord and tell me what you would do if 3 little floating nosy cunts come into your house with some sticky cone hands.
Yeah.
And they are touching your shit and jumping on your furniture.
Stealing your pies.
Making you freeze in place and making your dog sick.
Making moles.
Bastards.
Yeah.
And a mole right in the middle of my forehead, really?
Right,
really,
my
you
third
cunts?
eye,
Fuck
like
off. That. My smooth-ass forehead is forever blemished. I hate you. That's what I'd say.
Messing with my dog,
and then
Hobo.
Just flying around going, nice.
Nice.
Bitches. So come into the Discord and tell me what you thought of this ridiculous story that I just told you, that I would literally put my life on it being true.
Yeah.
That's how strongly I feel about it.
I don't feel that strongly.
I think Jean was a real one, and I don't think she was lying.
No.
Anyway, that's all I have. Do you have anything?
No.
Well, I'll let you say I love you and goodbye.
I love you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Us on your social media platform of choice.
Linktree/cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Willie B.